Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. This is Dee with Dee's Reading Lounge, where I'm sharing my love for reading at my own pace. It is a little after 3 o'clock and traffic is booming, y'all. So I'm trying to run some errands. I try not to come out this way during like the rush hour, like 3 o'clock window, but I couldn't help it because my morning was kind of full. And so yeah, I'm here getting these errands ready. So I just did a Costco run, just buying the necessities, y'all. I wrote a list, I went to Costco, and I got what was on my list. Well, that came up to $96, okay? That came up to $96. And so I'm heading now to Nordstrom's because I'm in my sneaker era now. Bought some Nike Cortez. I'll tell you in a minute when I get to Nordstrom's because I ordered them online, but they have a stain on them, and I did not realize that the material is not quality material when I did order them online. So I am taking them back to the store. They're really cute. They're in one of my favorite colors. Yeah, I am taking those back. I'll show you those in a minute. So I'm going to Nordstrom's to drop those off. I'm currently reading this book right here, The Queen's Spade. Is supposed to be based off of Sarah Forbes Bonetta story. I read that book in March. Yeah, I think I read that book in March. I gave it a 3.5 stars, I think. It didn't live up to the expectations, my expectations. It was on the mild side. To me, her life in England was pretty bland. I'm finally reading Daniel Black. It's hot out here, y'all, so if y'all hear like noise, air movement and stuff like that, I do have the windows down because it's like hot. It is like hot today. It's a really nice day today, but it's super hot. And so anyway, I'm reading physically Daniel Black's, what is it? What's that book, y'all? What is that book? Daniel Black's, I will put it on the screen because I forgot the name of it, y'all. I forgot the name of it. Finally reading that. I haven't finished the first chapter yet, so I'm gonna make time for both Daniel Black's book and the Queen Spade book on audio. So that's what we're reading. I did finally finish up Kill for Me, Kill for You. It was a lot of twists in that thriller. One of the best thrillers I have read lately. It didn't disappoint. It's more of a psychological thriller. And yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. So now we are at our destination, and I'm going to show you the shoes that I'm returning. So here are the shoes that I'm taking back. These are the Cortez. Really cute, but I just don't like this material. Even though it's easy to clean, I just feel like if I'm paying, it's got some suede to it, but not too big on suede because it's very difficult to keep clean. Love the color. Green is one of my favorite colors, but I don't know, I feel like if I'm paying over $100 on some sneakers, I need to have leather or some better quality material. So they're going back, and plus they have a stain on them. I don't know if you can see that, but it does have a stain right there. I don't know, like the suede has rubbed off or something like that and left like a little dot. So those are going back. I've already ordered or replaced them with some more Adidas, more of a neutral color. So yeah, we're gonna go in there to take care of that. Hey y'all, what's up? It's the next day. I am reading Perfect Peace. This is the book that I was talking about in the earlier clip. So when did I do that video? Yeah, I did that clip the day before yesterday. But I'm gonna say that I started it today because I did start over. So I know I'm probably the only or the last person has read this book. So if I do mention spoilers and you have not read this book, then just fast forward to another part of the video, because I am going to talk about some spoilers, because yeah, most of you guys have probably already read this book. So this is by Daniel Black. This is a Black male author. I've been wanting to get into more of my Black male authors because I typically do not gravitate to them. I don't know why. I have several Black male authors in my collection, but lately I've just been reading women, like women. So Perfect Peace, this is Perfect on the cover here. And in the first chapter, the first couple of pages, we've met, what's the mom's name? Emma Jean. We've met Emma Jean. Emma Jean has before Perfect, has 6 children, which are boys, all boys, but she's always wanted a little girl. And so we meet each little boy that she has. All of them are special in their own ways, you know, quirky characteristics. You know, one is like tall, one can tell stories. Another one is super smart, can sing. So her voice seems, and then she's got one son who is a little slow. But most of her children are like talented, seems to be talented boys. But that's not enough for her because she wants a girl. And guess what? So let me just read the back of the book. Okay, so it says, when the 7th child of the Peace family, named Perfect, turns 8, her mother, Emma Jean, tells her bewildered daughter, "You was born a boy." Okay. I don't remember reading the back. All I knew, I don't think I read the back. I don't think I've ever read the back of the book. So I'm gonna go into it a little blind, even though I know the premise of this story based on other people's like reviews and things like that. Perfect was born a boy, but when this happens in the first chapter, when she is born, Emma Jean saw the little baby's penis and immediately, you know, blocked out the fact that she was having another boy. She was quite upset. She had a midwife named Henrietta. Henrietta tried to comfort her and things like that. But while she's just laying there thinking about the fact that she's had another boy, she concocts this plan. No, she didn't. She didn't have a boy. She had a girl. And so she tries to convince Henrietta. Actually, she blackmails Henrietta because Henrietta has something in her past. Henrietta's her midwife, and apparently a midwife, you know, in the town that they live in. And so she's delivered, you know, quite a few babies. She tries to convince or blackmail Henrietta, or convince Henrietta that, no, I don't have a boy, this is a girl. And Henrietta's trying to talk some sense in her, not going along with it. But then Emma Jean brings up something that she's known but haven't mentioned it to her, because she was like, well, that's her business, that's something she got to deal with. But now it's a perfect time to bring it up and use it against Henrietta. And so Henrietta is blackmailed, is pretty much silenced, I guess, silenced to tell anybody or confirm the fact that she has had a boy, because all of the men folks, like her husband and all of her boys, are like waiting for the birth of this child. And so Henrietta was going to be the one to go out and tell them, you've got another boy. Emma Jean is like, no, I don't. This is not a boy. This is a girl. Oh my God. So that whole thing is crazy. Like, that is so crazy. Definitely explains that someone can go mentally ill in a split second, you know, because in that window of time where she gave birth to this baby, she has convinced in her mind that, you know what, I'm going to turn this around. This is not going to be a boy. This is going to be a girl. And yeah, she has gone insane that quick. And so that was the first chapter. Now I'm on chapter 2, and they're going back to Emma Jean's when she was a little girl, life when she was a little girl. And that mama, okay, like, that was one thing that was mentioned in chapter 1, why she wanted to have a girl, because she wanted to treat her little girl the way her mother never treated her. Because in chapter 2, we're meeting her mother. What was her mother's name? May Helen. May Helen is they all got country names, y'all. Emma Jean, May Helen. They all got country names. May Helen treated this little girl so badly, telling her, "Who are you? Like, you're nothing special." Like, it was her birthday. She woke up, you know, really rambunctious, waking up people. And May Helen was so irritated by all the noise that she was making in the morning. She was like, "Mama, it's my birthday. I just want to celebrate, have a party." She was like, "Who are you? Who do you think you are, Queen Sheba? Girl, you are nothing special. You are nobody." She was like, "You know what? I think I should have named you Nobody." I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, so sad. But I know this is fiction, but there are actually parents out here, if you watch any type of news, who treat their kids so poorly. So that is all I have gotten and so far into chapter 2. And so I'm just going to continue and read this book, and we'll see how far we get. I'm about to head out for the day. I'm gonna run a few errands. I do have a library hold to pick up. So I'm gonna pick that up, and then because of these food prices, I've been meaning to go to a farmer's market to pick up some fresh fruit, because I went to a farmer's market back in March, and I got a lot of like fresh fruit, freshly picked for a really good price. I got the fruit for a good deal. And so now that I'm back home, I said I wanted to kind of like drive around to see if I'm able to find any, I think we do have a few farmers markets. So I'm gonna do that, and then I think I'm gonna go to the gym and just do 4 miles around the track, because I think it's gonna rain. It looks like it might rain today. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna be listening to The Queen's Spade. See you in the next clip.
Change is gonna come for me if I just sit back, relax and breathe. Life won't pass me by. Life won't pass me by. Even when the road gets dark, even when life gets hard, I know a change is coming for me if I just sit back, relax and breathe.
So I'm finished at the farmer's market, and I want to quickly show you what I picked up for great deals in my opinion. So I'm a plant mom, but I've lately been really getting into like buying different types of plants, not just, you know, the typical plants, but exotic, more unknown plants. And so I don't think I've ever seen this. This is a Catalea, something like that. I thought it was very unique and different. It's definitely going on my patio space, and so I can't wait to get it in a little cute pot. Got this for $15. I bought myself some flowers. Look at this, y'all. Look at this arrangement. So freaking beautiful. And then the rest I got fruit and vegetables. So I got some Roma tomatoes for $1. All of this is freshly picked broccoli for $1 a bag. Then I got some romaine lettuce. I think this was $2.50 for a bag. All these things I came to get, I cook with, because I'm trying to do a non-inflammatory diet. So I got some red onions. I got a bag of peeled garlic for $3. I got some peaches, but I've never seen any peaches shaped quite like this, and they were like $5, and it's about 10 or 11 in here. So I think that is a great deal. And so my budget I gave myself for fruits and vegetables was $30, and I still have some left. So now I don't know what I'm gonna do, y'all. I think I'm just gonna ride around and then go home, cook dinner, relax, read. So I think that's what we're gonna do.
If I just sit back, relax and breathe.
This item comes in stock on the 20th. We'd be able to deliver 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th.
Me by. Even change is gonna come for me if I just sit back, relax and breathe. Life won't pass me by. Life won't pass me by. Even when the road gets dark, even when life gets hard. I know a change is coming for me if I just sit back, relax and breathe. 'Cause life won't pass me by.
So I am back at home, and as you can see, I've changed my clothes into like my favorite loungewear slash pajamas. So I'm in my comfy clothes. I've got dinner, cooking. Today wasn't a whole lot going on today because the weather was kind of wishy-washy. It's cloudy outside and it did rain a little bit, so I didn't get to go to the gym, but I probably wasn't feeling up to it anyway, so I'm gonna do that some other time. So now we can get nice and cozy with our book, Perfect Peace by Daniel Black. I'm excited to get more into this because I actually made it to page 50. So when I'm sitting down to read a book, I always make a goal, like a page count goal. 50 seems like a really good number to like end at. And I like to end at the end of the chapter. Sometimes if I have to, if I'm in a time crunch, I will end it before I finish the chapter, but I don't like to do that if I can. So we are on chapter 6, and what can I tell you so far? Like I said before, if you have not read this book, you might want to skip like the spoiler sections. This book is quite old. This was published in 2010, y'all. So this book is 15 years old. This book is 15 years old. But y'all, I am loving it. I'm loving the writing style. It's set in like the mid 30s, 40s. The language is kind of broken English. The family is poor. However, the dad of Perfect and husband of Emma Jean was left some land by his, I want to say, father. So they do have a house, but they work like the field. And I'm not sure if she works because she's got 7 kids. The husband did not want another child, but Emma Jean lied to him and said she couldn't get pregnant anymore, and boom, she was pregnant. And so he's resentful for that. There's nothing he can do about it, and he's gonna love the child regardless, but he wished that Emma Jean did not lie to him and tell him that she couldn't get pregnant, when she just made that up. It seems like she just made that up or just told him that. And so he was like, if I knew that was a lie, I would have never touched you. And then she looked at him like she was upset or hurt by that. And he looked at her and was like, well, I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that. I'm just saying I would have been more careful if I would have known, that was a lie. So the baby is here. The kids have held the baby, like the other boys have held the baby. But before the baby went out to see the family, Emma Jean told the husband, do not unwrap this baby, because if they did, the baby was naked, right? The baby was naked. So they definitely would have seen that it was a boy. And so far, nobody knows what the real sex of the baby is. But Henrietta is, the midwife is really struggling with what she did, that secret. Emma Jean is blackmailing her to keep her secret. And so we have learned what that secret was that Emma Jean is blackmailing Henrietta about. I'm gonna try to get to another 50 pages. I think that's a good, like I said, I think that 50 pages is a good marker. And 50 pages is gonna be exactly 100 pages. So if I'm enthralled, because I don't have anything to do tonight at all, but I don't really like reading for long periods of time. I like to do other things, like watch a good movie, or I could tell this book is going to be a 5-star read for me. And honestly, y'all, I have not had a 5-star since the beginning of the year, and that was one book, which was Cane River. And I don't think anything I have read, historical fiction, has been able to compare to that book. Yeah, so I think this is gonna be a 5-star, y'all, because yeah, it's good. I should be finished with this book in 2 more days. So I'll see you in about 2 more days.
Gonna come for me if I just sit back, relax and breathe. Life won't pass me by.
So I knew I said I was not going to come back until I finished this book, but here I am. I'm back because I want to talk about this book some more. I am on page 95, chapter 11. I just got into chapter 11. And in chapter 10, Perfect was talking now. So she's talking. So I had to go back to see when she was born. She was born in 1940. So in chapter 10, Perfect was talking like maybe a 6-year-old. So my son is grown. He's in his 30s. I'm not really exposed to little kids anymore. So I'm like, is a 4-year-old really having conversations like this with their parents? I know it's a fictional book, but I'm very critical when it comes to things like that. Like, a 4-year-old does not have conversations like that. So she is really expressing herself well at 4 years old, having conversations with her mom and dad, almost like a 6 or 7-year-old, telling her mom that she wants to play with the boys. Now I'm getting into the part where Perfect is naturally inclined to want to do boyish things. Imogene is constantly having to explain to her that little girls don't play with boys. Girls play with dolls. Girls are pretty. They stay in the house. You know, things like that. And Perfect is like, I don't want to stay in the house, Mom. I want to play with the boys. So if she's still 4 in chapter 11, she's figuring out at this early age that she is more inclined to do boyish stuff. So it's very interesting how this book is going to go, because I feel like the writing is so good. I can actually see this family where I can actually, while I'm reading, visualize the characters, the setting, them bantering back and forth. If I can actually see that, I know this is going to be a good book. That's always a good sign. And I can actually picture in my head this family sitting in their house in the kitchen at breakfast, having these conversations, and Perfect talking to her mom, the mom talking to the kids, all of that. I can actually visualize all that while I'm reading the book. But I'm very curious as to how this is going to go, because Perfect at 4 years old is figuring something out about herself, that she's more inclined to do boyish things versus little girls things, even though she's been told she's a girl and she's been given dolls and things like that to play with, and she has been playing with the dolls, but more often than not, she is more inclined to want to play with her brothers, and run around the yard and things like that. And so her mother is really having to hold or tame her and reiterate that you're a girl. You're not supposed to be doing that. Little girls are supposed to stay pretty and things of that nature. So I'm really enjoying this book. I'm loving like the back and forth with Gus the husband and Imogene, even the boys enjoying their conversations with Perfect, the sibling rivalry and things like that. It's obvious that they're figuring out that Perfect is the love child by the mom because she is a girl and she's being treated different by the mom. But anyway, I just want to come and talk about that part. So I'll probably won't be back, I promise, until I finish this book. Okay, y'all, so it is several weeks later and I have just finished Perfect Peace by Daniel Black. And oh my God, I literally just finished it. This book is all encompassing. It's got everything, y'all, that a good book should have. It's got good storytelling. It's got good writing. The writing is not, complicated. It's very simple writing, but also written in a way where he's writing about a heavy topic, but he's incorporating funny parts too as far as the dialogue. It's got character development in this book. We get to know all of the boys in all of their funny ways. Also like some side characters, some people from the church and their behavior. You almost felt like you went to the same church and you knew these people that he was talking about. Heavy topic. Imogene made me mad. The whole, well, you know what? I want to say the first part of the book, I was really upset with her because she was just so oblivious. And I just knew that, eventually she was going to have to come to terms and tell the truth about what was going on. So on the back of the book, like I mentioned before in the earlier clip, it does say that she had no choice. When Perfect was 8 years old, she had to tell him the truth. Otherwise, he was going to find out. He was on his way to finding out that something about him was just not right, okay? Because he had little friends and things like that. And you know how kids are. They experiment and they talk and they play and they ask so many questions. So that was happening with Perfect. And when she told Perfect, it was just, nobody could believe it. Nobody could believe it. And things just was not the same. Of course, things were not the same for the whole family, the community. Of course, for Perfect's, his life was completely, at the moment was destroyed. I would say the book kind of destroyed me emotionally because of what Imogene, the mother, was doing, and all of the indignations, I would say, that Perfect had to go through because no one was really accepting his situation. And it just tugged at my heart, y'all. It tugged at my heart. However, his writing tore me up. It tore me up, but it made me whole in the beginning. Even though, the ending was sad, I felt like I was put back together, just like Perfect was put back together in the end. Heavy topic. It almost brought me to tears, especially like the last half of the book, the last few pages. I kind of figured out what was going to happen. And when it did happen, I mean, my heart felt for, the situation, but also I know this sounds weird, but I felt kind of relieved and happy for Imogene because this destroyed her. And I don't think she could forgive herself. And like I mentioned before, she did not have a good childhood at all. All I will say is hurt people, definitely hurt people. And this is a good book where it's fiction. However, it wrestled with redemption, forgiving yourself, hurt people, colorism, what else? Mental health, okay? It proved that someone can go crazy, which people have gone crazy at a snap of a finger, which Imogene did go crazy after she had that baby and said it was a girl. So it dealt with a lot of themes, y'all, and I just felt like this book was just all encompassing of heartbreak. It's heartwarming. It tore you up. It had funny parts. The language was not complicated, overwritten. It was very simple, but it pulled you in, and you just got to know and love like all of the characters. Even Emma Jean, even though I hated what she did, I don't want to say I understood it, but I understood that she was mentally incapacitated. And when you're mentally incapacitated or insane, you're really not responsible 100% for your actions if you're truly insane. And I really do think she was insane, but what she did was just absolutely so horrible. And it just makes you question, could you ever forgive someone that did that to you? Is that even possible? You know what I mean? Is it possible? So 5 stars because of everything I just said. Plus, I was on the brink of tears at the very end. I didn't actually shed a tear, but still, I was almost there. I'm never going to forget this book. This book was really good. I'm not one to say, oh, he's an autobiography author for me. However, I will say that I want to read all his work. Okay, I want to read all of his work. So I will say I'm an auto read. Okay, all of his work, whatever he comes out with, I'm going to read his backlist. And I'm going to start with, I don't remember the name of it, but it's right here. Yeah, so that is Perfect Peace. Those are my thoughts about this book. Have you read it? What were your thoughts? Did you love the book like I did? How do you feel about Emma Jean without spoiling anything, especially, you know, the later half of the book? How did you feel about her? Were you mad at her like I was? Okay, like, girl, I was so mad. I was so mad at that lady. I was. And I was so mad at her mama too. Her mama was dead and gone, but still, you know, what her mom did to her and how she treated her couldn't be forgiven by Emma Jean. I mean, you know, you have to be careful, especially what you say to young people, because that really does shape them into adulthood. Some things just can't be forgotten or even forgiven. But anyway, those are my thoughts. That's the vlog. Leave all your feedback down below. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care and be blessed. And by the way, this is my new reading chair. Absolutely love it. I got it from Ashley Furniture. Oh my God, it is so comfortable. It goes all the way back. I can even store like the current book that I'm reading right here. It has 2 little storage compartments right here. I can put my book right in there, and then when I'm ready to pick up and read again, I can just get my book. It's really deep too, and start reading. So you'll see me in here as well. So I just want to introduce my reading chair just in case, you know, the setting in the background looks different in my little corner, reading corner. So that is it, y'all. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next video.